Despite 2020 being a difficult year, last year was relatively successful in identifying mysterious music. A couple of these songs will have their own segments in this episode, while others will be acknowledged briefly with the potential of being examined more extensively in a future video. With 9 episodes into this series, we've covered a bunch of different music obscurities, from lost media to releases with only one copy ever produced, to urban legends, plus a couple of videos examining outstanding mysteries and ones that have been solved. In this video, I'd like to cover mysteries and obscurities that don't quite fit any of these categories, or which pull between multiple categories. Here are the odds and ends of mysterious music. We'll begin with one that is less about the mystery and the solution, and more about the lessons we can learn for investigating mysterious music. Also, kudos to Redditor Travelin for purchasing the vinyl to identify Johnny Walker by Larry Jinx Alexander. Anyone watching from the Mysterious Song subreddit might remember my post regarding this country song that could have been identified by yours truly much sooner had I not been so quick to rule out a lead. When I heard that the most mysterious country song had finally been solved, I couldn't help but wonder why Larry Jinx Alexander sounded so familiar. After looking at the album that Johnny Walker was released on, Riverboat Man, I realized that Larry Jinx Alexander had been on my suspect list while I was trying to solve this mystery. Johnny Walker wrote the sad song I'm singing tonight. What's interesting about this specific mystery is the difficulty in pinpointing a time frame of the song's creation. Riverboat Man wasn't released until 1989, but Alexander died in an accident back in 1984. The 5-year gap between the artist's death and his album's release is made even more complicated with the fact that the songs on Riverboat Man were actually recorded between 1972 and 1973 at Broadway Sound Studio. While Johnny Walker is a catchy tune, and that alone should be celebrated, there's also a lesson to be learned from this song if you're doing detective work on unidentified music. Recordings sometimes take years to be released. In this case, almost half a decade after the singer died, and over 15 years after it was recorded. Johnny Walker is an example of why we should never rule out a lead based strictly on date range. I initially stumbled on Alexander by searching some obvious keywords, and it could have been solved had I continued to pursue those leads. This won't work for every mysterious song, but hopefully Johnny Walker helps us expand our search horizons and reconsider musicians that have already been ruled out for other mysterious songs we're looking for. Johnny Walker wrote the sad song I'm singing tonight. He wrote a song for me and he felt it was The Beatles, being one of the best-selling and most influential bands of all time, not only had their inevitable share of copycats, but Beatle fandom in particular have what's called outfakes, which are essentially phony outtakes. In other words, there'd be an unofficial recording in circulation by a completely different band. But to encourage listeners, the recording would be mislabeled as a Beatles outtake. This would be done by bootleggers, the musicians themselves, either to get more ears on their music or as a way to spoof or mock the Beatles. But there were also artists who simply sounded so much like the Beatles that it was the listener who mislabeled the outfake as a legitimate Beatles bootleg. Whatever the motivation for an outfake was, the Beatles had several. Most of these obscure songs have been identified, such as Have You Heard the Word by The Foot, which was so convincing, John Lennon's widow, Yoko Ono, tried to have it copyrighted because she thought John Lennon was actually singing on that track. These outfakes are vast enough that not all of them have an owner yet. Take Peace of Mind, The Candle Burns, a song that was reportedly found in the trash at Apple Records in 1970, which was possibly one of the countless demos sent to the label by aspiring musicians. Here are excerpts of some Beatles outfakes.
There is a little insect not many people see. He's known to all the insects as the endless bumblebee. So when you hear him coming, just throw away your tea. That psychedelic humming will mean you'll soon be free. Your eyes reach, you stand so close and take my breath away. You move in and I want more.
The first act in each film of the Godfather trilogy features a celebration in which the titular character must accept requests from his guests. In The Godfather Part 2, during the celebration after Don Michael's son's first communion, this song can be heard. Unbeknownst to me, who's a big Godfather fan and has seen Part 2 countless times, I had no idea this song was uncredited and that fans had been searching for it for some time. A solution was provided back in August 2020, which revealed the song to be Italianized, composed by director Francis Ford Coppola's father, Carmine. Interestingly, Carmine Coppola is credited at the end of the movie, and Francis Ford Coppola is known for including his family in his filmmaking, so the person who was revealed to be behind the song makes a lot of sense. However, it's fascinating to know that so many people were taken by a song in the background of a famous movie that millions of people have seen, and most of us, including me, had no idea that it was unknown. A year after the film's release, Carmine Coppola re-recorded the song on vinyl, so it was only a matter of time before a diehard fan would have found it. But being uncredited and so well liked, you just never know where a mystery lies and how long it'll take to get solved. A similar mystery surrounds an unidentified song in the trailer of Videodrome.
Max Wren is a victim. His brain is already receiving video images.
I also featured a segment in the fourth Mysterious Music episode, Lost and Found, about a mysterious tune used in a sci-fi commercial with the placeholder title, Imagination Lives. This just goes to show, between television spots, movie trailers, or within a film itself, there can be a mysterious song.
In the beginning,
This song might sound familiar to some of you, as it was sampled by DJ Shadow, mastermind behind the critically lauded album Introducing. DJ Shadow is known not only for his obsession of music, having a collection of over 60,000 records, but also for sampling rare and seldom heard pieces of music and making unique songs out of them, with some tracks using dozens of excerpts from a variety of different styles of music, such as electronic, experimental, funk, rock, soul, etc. One of these rare songs is featured on the track This Time I'm Gonna Try It My Way from his third studio album, The Outsider. The original recording was taken from a reel simply labeled Joe, found in an abandoned recording studio in the Bay Area. Aside from its association to DJ Shadow, there's not a whole lot of other information on this song. It's thought to have been recorded in 1967, and a licensing site lists the authors as Joseph Wood and Ray DeBard. Not much can be found on Joseph Wood, but Ray DeBard is associated with several writing and producing credits ranging from as far back as 1954 to as current as 2018. He also owned a chain of Music City record shops, as well as Music City recording studios. It's likely that This Time I'm Gonna Try It My Way was a record that never got released before Music City recording studios went under. But even if we now have an idea of which abandoned studio this reel came from, it still leaves the question, who is Joe and whatever happened to him?
That's why this time, I'm gonna try it my way. I'm gonna try it my way. Yeah, this time, oh, this time, I'm gonna try it my way.
This entry was originally slated to appear on Mysterious Music Episode 4, Lost and Found, but it was deleted for pacing purposes, plus it just didn't seem to fit in with the rest of the video. But just because a segment gets cut from one video doesn't mean it won't make it into another. So here we are, and this album definitely meets the standards of odds and ends. Just Keep Thinking Fun Will Happen is an obscure album, though with plenty of copies in circulation, by a band that's a mystery. Back in the 90s, there used to be a hardcore punk magazine called Heart Attack, which included music reviews. One in particular was a really bad review for an album called Just Keep Thinking Fun Will Happen by The Kill, Baby. The review reads, "Screechy emo that often comes close to self-parody. They even have the crazied Konstantin Sankati horn section. After reading the lyrics, I'm beginning to think they shouldn't really be upset about such things as falling in love. What they really ought to be upset about is their drum sound. It's so bad that now I want to go out and write a song about it. If it weren't for the last song, I would give this a complete thumbs down. Sometimes the best way to fix something is to break it completely. Now there's a song title that makes complete sense to me, especially in regards to this record." Nothing else is known about the band, but they were likely formed in Pennsylvania, as Just Keep Thinking Fun Will Happen was recorded at Interstellar Studios in York, Pennsylvania, between late 1997 and early 1998. No credits are listed on the album, and nobody has come forward to claim any affiliation with the band.
Maybe leaving's better in the afternoon.
Prior to making his way to Key West, Florida, and becoming one of the world's richest beach bums, Jimmy Buffett tried to make it as a folk singer, recording 2 studio albums for Barnaby Records called Down to Earth in 1970 and High Cumberland Jubilee in 1971. When Down to Earth failed to perform, Barnaby Records inexplicably lost the tapes for the songs that were going to appear on his sophomore album, causing High Cumberland Jubilee to not get its planned release in 1971. Although upset by this, Buffett moved on, recording 4 LPs for Dunhill ABC Records and a soundtrack album of the Western comedy Rancho Deluxe for United Artists, all within a span of just 5 years. In that time, he recorded a song called The Great Filling Station Holdup, which didn't prove popular. However, its raunchy B-side, Why Don't We Get Drunk, proved to be a jukebox favorite.
Why don't we get drunk and screw?
Not to mention, Buffett also scored a top 40 single with Come Monday.
Come Monday, it'll be alright.
Seeing that Buffett was quickly making a name for himself, Barnaby Records conveniently found the tapes that had been lost, and they released High Cumberland Jubilee in 1976, just in time to be available for when Buffett's biggest achievement, Margaritaville, came out in February 1977.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville.
maybe it's all just a coincidence, but it's stories like these that make you wonder how much music gets lost intentionally. These songs might have been buried forever had Buffett not been more successful. Which would have been a shame, because even if you're not a fan of the Caribbean rock and roll style of music that Buffett is known for, there are some real gems buried in this folk album.
But Ace can't read and Ace can't write, and he sleeps on a bench at night. A little man the world has left behind. Too many innocent faces, too many far out places. Something's wrong. Let me tell you that something's wrong. It's been that way so long, and it's a shame. And when we finally reach his home and walk among the stars, he'll join our band, then we'll understand why God don't own a car. A la 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 la, a la 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 la.
If a list could be made of one of the most celebrated mysterious songs being solved, Nefertiti by Two Big Boys would rank among the highest. The song had the indie pop vibe that's often associated with many mysterious songs, but it had a twist to its instrumentation that made it exotic and unforgettable. The mystery of Nefertiti is covered in episode 1, Top 10 Most Mysterious Songs, while the solution to the mystery and discovery of Two Big Boys is covered in the previous video, episode 8, 5 More Mysterious Songs that were eventually identified. When this song was identified as Nefertiti by Two Big Boys, one of the members, Ron Muir, was providing anyone interested with a copy of the 7-inch single while supplies in the backlog lasted. I immediately got in touch with Ron, and I found a whole other side to Ron's talents besides music, specifically a painter and storyteller. He published novels, novellas, short stories, and he even seemed to enjoy telling me of some of his best memories while in Two Big Boys. The amount of interest in the 7-inch single required Ron to package and send a lot of material internationally. Ron seemed to enjoy mailing out his work to fans and was very quick to respond to emails. One day, when I wanted to clarify something with Ron for a segment I was doing about the mystery of Nefertiti, Ron didn't reply to my email. From the first time we spoke, Ron was very transparent about some health issues he had, but he was so enthusiastic and humorous in our conversations that I guess I just underestimated the seriousness of his situation. Just by the wealth of work that Ron has left behind, I wish I had gotten a chance to know him more. More importantly, however, Ron was still around to find out that people were curious about his work, and for him to learn in his final few months that there was a newfound appreciation for Two Big Boys thanks to the Nefertiti mystery, well, I'm told it made him incredibly happy. Ron was able to leave us knowing that Two Big Boys would live on forever.
I'm set free.
Before getting to our final segment, which is one of these identified songs, I wanted to take a few moments to recognize some of the other music this community has identified in the last year, and I look forward to possibly covering some of these more in depth in a future Mysterious Music episode.
I know it's hard to see what you mean to me all the time. That's all broken memories of a love gone bad. I hope you understand.
Z anteny złociste kuli drówce oczystej stoją na fortepianie the minimal girls with minimal trousers, the minimal skirts. Minimal down is just the minimal praise. The minimal love will be the minimal face. Minimal boys who like the minimal girls with minimal trousers, the minimal skirts. I keep looking for that sunset, I don't know where it will be.
Once in a rare while, a sound clip lasting less than a minute will take the internet by storm, and the hunt is on. It first started at inthezeros.com in December 2006, where a request for this song was posted. Then, after 10 years of no development, user AutoTrack took to What's That Song in February 2017, where this 30-second excerpt was posted.
Looking for that sunset, I don't know.
For an additional 2 years, the song didn't get any extra attention at What's That Song. Then, in June 2020, it suddenly gained traction seemingly out of nowhere, and interest spread across music forums on the internet. It was speculated to be from the early to mid-70s and recorded off of Chicago's WXRT 93.1 FM or Stereo 96 WBBM FM, the mellow sound of Chicago.
So it's one more song, I've been moving on, play a long one, BBMFM.
The former's marketing director was also so intrigued that they were making their colleagues aware of the mystery in hopes that someone would recognize the catchy soft rock number. By December 2020, the cassette in which the song was originally recorded on was retrieved by the uploader. Back in the 70s, the uploader used to tape his favorite songs off the radio, but he didn't always get a chance to record the full song. Redditor Game Monkey Dev got in touch with broadcaster Alan Cross, who posted the mystery on his site on December 29th to help spread awareness. With all this in motion, you'd think that some good old-fashioned detective work would solve this little mystery. Well, no. On January 2nd, 2021, at the Steve Hoffman Music Forums, user SteelyNJ replied to a post for assistance in identifying the song with one word in all caps: easy. It was then followed by, "It's the great Jim Dawson, one of my favorite 70s singer-songwriters." The post was accompanied by a link to a song on Dawson's website called The Livin' and the Dyin'. While there was no lyrics on the site, or anywhere on the internet for that matter, or else it probably would have been solved sooner, the entire song was available to listen for free.
I keep looking for that sunset, I don't know where it will be.
Holy crap, indeed, Pokemaniac junk. After 14 years on the internet, I Keep Looking was finally found. Despite speculation that whoever was behind I Keep Looking was local to Chicago, Dawson's roots are actually in Oklahoma and Colorado. Securing an honorable discharge from the Naval Air Reserve, he settled in New York, where he began to hone his skills in folk music venues and coffee shops. The self-taught pianist and guitarist was so promising, he was touted as the next Bob Dylan. After failing to achieve his hoped-for breakthrough, he disappeared to Jamaica, but resurfaced in 1978, making ends meet by cleaning apartments and driving a cab. With a little help from his friends, Dawson was persuaded to start writing again, and by the mid-80s, he found himself performing in clubs and coffee houses again. He eventually caught his first break, hired to write and record the opening theme for a popular German television soap opera, and earned enough money to set up his home studio. "Nothing better than standing in my boxer shorts and doing a vocal," Dawson told Newsday in 2003. However, Dawson considered distancing himself from music once again. The tragedies of 9/11 affected him so deeply that performing felt pointless. But before he could disappear again, he agreed to not cancel a show that had already been scheduled. During that performance, the energy between Jim and the audience gave him a new perspective on his music. "This is what I do. I was put here on this earth to sing my songs. It's all I can do. Somehow, this music helps people to heal, and that helps me to heal.
Sometimes we're a part of the lifelong, and sometimes we are part of the cry, and we are a part of it all.
From the tragedies of September 11th to the pandemic we're currently trying to get through, to everything else going on in this crazy world, music helps all of us heal.
Sometimes we're part of the laughing, and sometimes we're part of the cry. We are part of it all.
We are a part of it all, indeed. This song is as true today as it was 45 years ago. Until next time, thanks as always for watching.
I keep looking for that sunset I don't know.